What is your parrot's beak telling you? Hi, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond. Please be sure to get your copy on Amazon. It is now available as a hardback, a softcover or an ebook. So what is your parrot's beak telling you? When it comes to a parrot's beak, that is like another hand for them. So it's not just a mouth. It's really going to be so much more. And by the way, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Hi guys. And if not, you already know, this is Bonita or Bonnie Rose, my golden conure or Queen of Bavaria. Bonnie is not the largest in the conure species. I think the Patagonian conures are the only other one that's larger. They are larger, but I don't know if there's anyone else. And it's crazy because there are like 50 conure species when I sat there and counted in my Citiculture book by my mentor, Tony Silva. Awesome book. It has like everything about parrots. All right, now, that's one of my go-to places for information. See that? We've got some beak going on. Hi. Hi. Is your parrot biting you with their beak, or are they preening you? Is your parrot just experiencing life with their beak, or are they being like a toddler that puts everything in their mouths? I think the answer is yes to all of it. Parrots will move around. I'm sure you've noticed that your parrot will not only grab the bars in its cage with its feet, but also with its beak. Their beak is really like another hand that they use not only for eating, but for feeling things, for seeing what's going on. They use their beak. This is really significant and really important. When you have two parrots, they use their beak to like greet each other. It's kind of like a kiss, and because they'll beak each other, they'll just kind of beak. But more than that, it's a confirmation that they are a pair kind of thing. So for example, in my claviary, which is my parrotlet aviary, I have 10 plus parrotlets in there, and there are different pairs, and I let them pair up however they want. They find their mate kind of thing, and when they fly around and they go other places or whatever, and then they come back together, they beak each other. It's really interesting because it's kind of like touching base. It's kind of like text messaging each other, hey, how are you, or whatever. You know, they're just kind of connecting. So it's interesting because that makes their beaks a really significant part of a parrot that makes them, of course, very unique. And, of course, they are the only ones with a hook bill. As I understand it, parrots have the strongest beaks with that hook bill out of all the birds. Other birds have talons or speed or, different things. As owls, for example, did you know that they're soundless when they're flying? You cannot hear them. Like, technology can't measure their sound. They're soundless. Their feathers allow them to be soundless. So different families of birds have different things, and for parrots, I believe that they are the only ones with this incredibly strong beak. So it's a very significant part of really who they are and how they relate. So, of course, when they're upset with you, it's also something for balancing, see? When they're upset with you because, like, maybe you're coming at them and they don't like it and they're afraid they're going to get bitten or something like that, of course, they're going to give you a beak like, I'm going to bite you, or they are going to bite you, which is one reason you want to come at them, not from above to pet them, but kind of from the side so that they're more comfortable. But their beak is also used for preening one another. So when your parrot beaks you, what are they doing? And I'm going to take one step backwards. I do make a distinction between beaking and biting. Biting would be cutting the skin and making you bleed, like hurting you kind of thing. Beaking, it means that they're putting their beak on your finger or whatever part of you they're grabbing, but they're not penetrating. They can control how much pressure they put on whatever they've got in their beak. So they're choosing to be light about it. Why? Why are they sometimes light about it? What are they doing when they're beaking? When they're young, sometimes they're saying, I'm hungry. When they're beaking, sometimes they're doing this to you. They're picking at your beauty marks, or they're picking at if you have like a wart or something, anything like that. They are preening you. Now my parrot bugs are getting a little loud. You're like, ow, stop. But they think that they're taking care of you. They are being your buddy, aren't you? And of course, sometimes some of my parrots will beak my finger and move it away from them. And that's the body language saying, I am politely saying no. They are either politely saying, don't pick me up, or I don't want to come with you. I want to be left alone. Maybe they're getting ready for a nap, whatever it is. So that beak is really super significant, a big place of communication. If your parrot's beak ever gets injured, you have to be careful because they may not be able to eat. So that's always something to watch. Their beaks have a lot of nerves in them. And so parrots often like to have their beaks scratched. Look at that. And even with parrots with larger beaks, it's a great place to grab because they do that to each other. So like my macaws, hey guys, quiet down. When my macaws are kind of getting a little out of hand, I will grab their beak because that's kind of what they do to each other. They beak each other, they kind of go, ah, and kind of keep each other in line or tell, they're communicating with each other through body language mostly, but a lot of it is through the beak saying, stay here, come here, do this, do that, that kind of thing. Thank you. They're being beaucoup loud. Come on. Oh, see, there's some beaking. That's a little bit of exploring. So one thing about people, when I've noticed people who, it's kind of really interesting. There are people who are like scared of parrots, especially a parrot they don't know. Sometimes that's me, because they've got that beak and they don't know, you don't know how they're going to respond. And then there's other people that come in and they're obviously parrot people, they're obviously animal people, and they just go right in and swoop the parrot right up, and they're not afraid, and they have this energy of like just this place of comfort, and it's like they just swoop them up and grab their beak. And it's really interesting to see because the parrots tend to respond really well to them. I mean, sometimes they do bite them and it depends on the parrot, but it's a very interesting thing to watch. That confidence from a human in action with a parrot is amazing. But they'll go and they'll grab the beak because you're kind of saying hi. That's one way, when they're being friendly, they beak each other. When they're being unfriendly, they do that dinosaur, get away from me. And when they're being really friendly, they do a submissive, putting their head down. And some of my parrots, this morning, for example, my Cape parrot, one of our males, Quantum, was befriending her, and he was bringing his beak and his head upside down to her like this so that she could do exactly what she just did. So it's like a point of greeting. So keep that in mind and really try to see your parrot's beak as the point of connection for you, like almost like a handshake. It can be a handshake, it can be a finger flip, it can be a warning, it can be a grooming, just like you could give someone a massage or something. Their beaks are like that, and they can communicate just as much with their beaks, don't break my necklace, as we can with our hands. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with your parrot. I'm trying to think, my parrotlets are so small, it's kind of hard to pet their beaks, but I think they let us. So they all like that, and that's one reason, you always want to be careful. Like if you probably take your parrot to the groomer, and the groomer knows how much to trim, but that's why you don't trim too much, because they've got nerves, and this is like, their beak is super important. It's their food, it's their ability to socialize, it's ability to defend themselves, it's everything. So keep that in mind and kind of watch how your parrot treats their beak relative to you. Is your parrot eating your necklace? Is your parrot greeting you with it? Did you see that little bob? Part of her had an instant reaction. She kind of bobbed like that, like a part of her body said, oh, I'm going to be fed. But then she was like, no, I'm not. This isn't feeding time and everything. So, but watch how your parrot brings you their beak, because they might really be communicating with you, greeting you, trying to take care of you, trying to love you, or trying to warn you. And when you watch, you're less likely to get bitten, and you're more likely to be able to kiss them, and maybe not kiss them, but you know what I mean? Like, do that handshake, do that loving bonding connection, do that, yes, we're together, we're bonded, we're a team kind of thing. It's kind of a really neat thing. I love watching when my parrot lets do that. Now her foot's on my ear. Thank you. Why is your foot on my ear? Thank you. That's better. Oh, see, like right now she's loving that. She's like, oh, she's loving that. So hopefully, you look at your parrot's beak in a different way and recognize it's a great place to first approach them, because it's just like a handshake, like the first thing that you would encounter, the first friendly thing kind of thing. All right. Thank you for joining me in this blissful video. Please be sure to get your bottle of Tink's must-have Parrot Relief on parrotbliss.com, where you can also leave a comment. If you want to leave a comment below, please do so. Anything you want to ask about parrots. And thank you for watching the ad. Please be sure to subscribe, like the video if you like the video, hit the bell so that you get notified the next time there's a video, to help me grow my channel if you enjoyed the video or my content. That would be awesome. And you can also join my not so noisy group on Facebook at Parrot Bliss Flock. Sorry about the parrotlets, they're getting all riled up. They're checking out her cage. So I will see you in the next feathered video.